Most people walk through life like leaves in the wind, blown around by problems, by people, by pain. They react, they worry, they lose sleep over things they can't control. But what if you could be the tree, not the leaf? What if you could face the storm with calm eyes, a strong heart, and a mind trained not to break? This is the story of a young man named James, a regular man who lived a regular life, until everything he leaned on was taken away. What followed wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something far more powerful than he ever imagined. A fire had to be lit. But to find it, James first had to walk into the storm. Part 1. The Storm and the Sea. James Bennett didn't look like the kind of man who'd lose everything. He had a steady job at a local hardware store in Cedar Falls, Iowa. He paid his bills on time, smiled at neighbors, helped his mom with groceries every Sunday. He wasn't rich, but he was safe, comfortable. And like most people, he thought that was enough. But one cold Tuesday in March, the store closed. Not just for the day, for good. "Sorry, James," said his manager, Hank, folding the layoff papers with shaky hands. "It's the economy. Supply chains. You know how it is." James nodded. But inside, he didn't know how it was. His whole world tilted. The next few weeks felt like a blur. His savings trickled away. Job interviews led nowhere. And slowly, a question started whispering inside his head. What now? He could have panicked. Could have blamed the world, the company, or even himself. Most people would have. In fact, his friend Mark did exactly that when he got laid off 6 months earlier. Mark started drinking more, sleeping less. He spiraled fast. But James remembered something his grandfather used to say. "Life will test you, boy. But it can't shake what's rooted deep." At first, those words didn't mean much. But one night, unable to sleep, James picked up an old book that had been gathering dust on his shelf, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He didn't expect much. But as he turned the pages, something started to happen. He didn't just read the words. He felt them. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. That line stuck with him like glue. Could this be a seed? Could losing his job, losing his comfort, actually be the start of something better? It sounded crazy. But so did most truths at first. The next morning, James did something different. He got up early, not for a job interview, but for himself. He wrote one sentence in a notebook. "I will not live like a leaf in the wind." Then he wrote another. "I will build my strength from the inside out." It wasn't a plan. Not yet. But it was a start. He began walking every morning, no phone, just silence. He sat with his own thoughts, not to judge them, but to observe them. And every time his fears spoke, he answered with purpose. "James," the fear would say, "you're lost." "No," he'd reply, "I'm finding my fire." The world didn't change right away. Bills still came. Doors still closed. But something inside James was changing. He stopped reacting to every little thing. He didn't get rattled when people didn't call back or when things didn't go as planned. He became still. Like the tree in his grandfather's story. One day, while volunteering at a community food drive just to stay busy, James met a man named Mr. Clayton. He was old, sharp-eyed, and quiet, but he noticed James right away. "You got a good head on your shoulders," Clayton said, handing James a box of canned goods. "But I can tell you're carrying something heavy." James shrugged. "Just trying to figure things out." Clayton smiled. "Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Goals are not wishes, son. They're promises. And when you start treating them like that, life gets out of your way." Those words landed like a punch. That night, James opened his notebook and wrote again. "I promise to become unshakable." From that moment, he didn't just set goals. He made promises. He promised to wake up early every day, even if he had nowhere to be. He promised to learn one new skill a week, anything that could add value to his life. He promised to protect his peace, even if it meant walking away from people who drained him. And slowly, those promises built trust with himself. That's the thing about inner strength. Most people think it's something you're born with or gain by chance. But James was learning that it's something you train. Each day he kept his promise, even in small ways. He stood a little taller, spoke a little clearer, felt a little stronger. When fear came knocking, he didn't answer with panic anymore. He answered with a plan. When old friends called to complain and waste time, he listened, but didn't let them pull him down. When a new job didn't pan out, he didn't spiral. He paused, breathed, and tried again. One morning, he sat under a tree in the local park, staring up at its branches swaying gently in the wind. That's when it hit him. This was what his grandfather meant. The tree wasn't strong because the storm never came. It was strong because it had been through dozens of storms, and never stopped growing. To be continued. Call to action. If James's journey sparks something inside you, share it. Like it. Leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss part 2. The promise and the plan. Your fire is waiting to be lit. Let's build it together. Let me know when you're ready for part 2, the promise and the plan. Everyone wants success, but not everyone treats it like a promise. Some wait. Some wish. Some delay. But then there are the rare few who move, even when the path is unclear. They don't wait for motivation. They honor their goal like a sacred vow. And it changes everything. This is what James learned after the storm. The question wasn't, can I do it? The question was, will I keep my word to myself? Part 2, the promise and the plan. James sat at the edge of his bed, notebook open, pen in hand. He wasn't waiting for inspiration anymore. He was building something, slowly, quietly, like planting seeds in a winter field. On the top of the page, he wrote in block letters, "A promise is a decision with a backbone." He didn't know where that line came from. It just hit him. He smiled. The last few weeks had been hard, but different. He was still jobless, still uncertain, but something inside him was shifting. He didn't feel like a victim of life anymore. He felt like the author of a new chapter. He thought about a moment 2 days ago that brought everything into focus. James had been walking past the community center when he overheard 2 kids arguing. One said, "I'm gonna be a basketball star." The other rolled his eyes and said, "You say that every week. You don't even show up to practice." That stuck with James. Saying a dream out loud is easy. Showing up when no one's watching, that's what separates talkers from doers. That night, James looked in the mirror and asked himself a question. Am I practicing my dream? And the answer was, kind of. He was reading, yes. Walking, journaling, reflecting, sure. But was he working toward a specific goal? Was he treating it like a promise? Not yet. So he sat down and wrote out 3 simple promises. Not dreams. Not someday ideas. Just clear, steady commitments. Point 1. Wake up at 6:30 a.m. every day, no excuses. Point 2. Study business for 1 hour daily, books, podcasts, anything. Point 3. Apply to 1 new opportunity each day, even if it's scary. He wrote them like a contract. Then signed his name at the bottom, James Bennett. Date, April 7th. The next morning, he wanted to sleep in. His body said, "Just 5 more minutes." His mind said, "It's only 1 day. You'll start tomorrow." But his promise said, "Get up. You said you would." So he got up. He didn't feel powerful. He didn't feel heroic. He just felt proud. That was new. Later that week, James met with Mr. Clayton again. They sat on a park bench, sipping coffee in the morning chill. "I started a plan," James said. "Wrote down 3 promises. Trying to keep them, even when I don't feel like it." Clayton grinned. "That's how real belief starts, when your actions show up before the results." James nodded slowly. "Sometimes it's hard, though. I feel like I'm barely moving." "Son," Clayton said, "you ever see a tree grow?" "Not really." "Exactly. You don't see it grow. But it's growing, 1 tiny bit at a time. Roots first. Then trunk. Then branches. It doesn't rush. It just shows up every day, doing its job. James leaned back on the bench, letting that truth sink in. That evening, something happened that might have shaken the old version of James. He got a rejection email from a company he really wanted to work for. He stared at the screen, stomach sinking, but instead of getting angry or discouraged, he closed the laptop, took a deep breath, and whispered, "One down. On to the next." He looked at the notebook. The line was still there. Apply to one opportunity every day. So he opened a new tab and kept his word. Each morning, James ticked off his promises. Some days felt easy. Others didn't. But every checkmark was like a brick in the foundation of something new. And slowly, something magical started to happen. He began to walk differently. Speak more clearly. Think more creatively. He wasn't just keeping promises. He was becoming the kind of person who always kept promises. Not for praise. Not for applause. For himself. Because the moment you start honoring your own word, your whole identity starts to shift. You begin to trust yourself. And that's when belief really starts to grow. One afternoon, James passed by a young woman sitting outside the library, struggling to tune a guitar. "Need help?" he asked. She smiled shyly. "I just started. I want to get good, but I barely have time." James nodded. "How often do you practice?" She laughed. "Whenever I feel like it." "So maybe once a week?" James thought for a second. "I know someone who practiced 20 minutes a day," he said. "Just 20. No matter how tired he was. A year later, he was playing like a pro. Not because he had talent, but because he kept a promise." She looked at him. "You?" He smiled. "Let's just say I know the power of small steps." That night, James wrote something new in his notebook. Progress isn't a feeling. It's a pattern. Keep the pattern. Trust the process. His promises weren't flashy. They weren't exciting. But they were working. Bit by bit, he was changing. And now he knew the truth. You don't need to move fast. You just need to move forward, even when no one notices, even when it's boring, even when it's slow. Because every small step, every tiny win, is proof. Proof that the life you want isn't waiting somewhere far away. It's waiting inside the promise you make to yourself today, and keep tomorrow. To be continued. Call to action. If you've ever made a promise to yourself, now's the time to keep it. Like, comment, and subscribe to follow James's journey in Part 3. Resilience is trained. Let's keep building, one step at a time. Let me know when you're ready for Part 3. Resilience is trained. Part 3. You've read about purpose, discipline, growth, time, and inner strength. But here's the truth that ties it all together. You already have what it takes. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Everything great starts from within. Confidence. Courage. Clarity. It's not handed to you. It's grown from the inside out. You were born with potential. But potential means nothing without action. Every day you wait is a day you could have been building. Every excuse you make is one more brick in the wall between you and your dream. This is your reminder. Stop looking for a sign. You are the sign. The difference between winners and wishers is simple. Winners act. They act even when they're afraid. They act when it's inconvenient. They act before they feel ready. They trust the process. They trust the effort. They trust that showing up every day, even with doubts, builds results. Imagine who you could become if you stopped holding back. What if you gave 100%, not just on good days, but on all days? What if you decided that your dreams weren't optional? They were your mission. Think about that version of you. Strong. Focused. Determined. That person isn't a fantasy. That person is already inside you, waiting to be unleashed. But you have to choose. You have to stop waiting for everything to be perfect. You have to silence the inner critic that says you're not good enough. Because here's the truth, you don't have to be perfect to begin. You just have to begin to become great. Every expert was once a beginner. Every success story started with a decision. So today, you make yours. You decide that enough is enough. Enough wasting time. Enough playing small. Enough wishing and waiting. Now it's time to step into your power. Your goals are promises. Your discipline is your armor. Your time is your tool. Your growth is your journey. And your belief in yourself, that's the spark that lights the fire. This isn't just a motivational story. This is your new standard. This is the line in the sand. From this day forward, you live with purpose. You move with intention. You act with boldness. Because the future you want is not found in comfort. It's built in effort, shaped by habits, and driven by belief. So go. Go after it with everything you've got. Go like your life depends on it, because it does. You are powerful. You are capable. You are ready. Now act like it. Speech balloon. If this story moved you, inspired you, or gave you clarity, then do something powerful. Bell subscribe for more motivational stories that speak to your soul. Thumbs up like if you believe your time is now. Outbox straight share this with someone who needs a push. Memo comment below, what will you take action on today? Your journey has just begun. Let's rise together. Rocket. Here is your revised part 3 of the motivational story, styled with clear, inspiring language for an American audience and aligned with the tone and message of your previous parts. Let me know when you're ready to move on to part 4 or if you'd like any edits to this one. Part 4. Time is life. Protect it like treasure. Time is not just hours and minutes. Time is life. Every second you waste is a piece of your life you never get back. So ask yourself, where is your time going? The most successful people don't have more time than you. They just protect it better. They treat their time like gold. They plan it. They use it. They don't let others steal it with meaningless things. You say you want to build a great life, a strong body, a big dream. But how much time do you spend each day actually working on it? Be honest. How much time do you spend scrolling through your phone? How many hours slip away watching shows, gossiping, worrying, or doing things that don't help you grow? It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware. You have 24 hours each day. That's 1,440 minutes. What you do with those minutes shapes your future. Waste enough of them, and your dreams slowly die. Use them wisely, and your life begins to transform. Here's a truth most people avoid. If you don't schedule your time, someone else will. The world will fill your day with their priorities if you don't claim it for yourself. That's why you must learn to say one powerful word, no. Say no to distractions that pull you away from your goals. Say no to people who drain your energy. Say no to habits that rob your time and give you nothing back. You don't need to do everything. You need to do the right things. Success isn't about being busy. It's about being intentional. It's better to do one important thing with full focus than 10 things halfway. Let's talk about a man named Marcus. He worked a job during the day, took care of his family at night, and had a dream of starting his own business. Instead of saying, "I don't have time," Marcus looked at his schedule and found small pockets of gold. He stopped watching TV for 2 hours every night. He used that time to study and build. He got up 1 hour earlier in the morning to plan his day and train his mind. He made time work for him, not against him. Within a year, Marcus had saved enough, learned enough, and built enough to leave his job and run his own business. Was it easy? No, but was it worth it? Absolutely. Here's the lesson. You don't find time. You make it. You decide what matters most. You choose what deserves your energy. And once you do that, your life changes. You must become a guardian of your schedule. You must ask yourself before every task, every meeting, every outing, is this helping me grow, or is it pulling me off course? Your time is your vote. Every day, you vote for the kind of person you want to become by how you spend your minutes. Vote for strength. Vote for learning. Vote for discipline. Here's a simple trick to take control of your time. Write down your top 3 goals. Now write down your daily schedule. Do they match? If they don't, it's time to adjust. Cut the noise. Cut the junk. Cut what doesn't serve your future. Fill your days with actions that move you forward. Read. Practice. Plan. Build. Connect with people who lift you up. Remember, success doesn't come from one big leap. It comes from thousands of small steps, taken with intention, repeated with discipline. Time is the soil where your dreams grow. If you plant weeds, distraction, laziness, gossip, you'll harvest regret. If you plant seeds of purpose, learning, effort, focus, you'll harvest greatness. Protect your time like a lion protects its den. Be fierce about it. Be honest with yourself. Your future is being shaped right now by what you do today. Don't just exist. Live on purpose. 1 hour a day, used wisely, is more powerful than 10 wasted hours. You have everything you need if you use your time well. Time is your gift. Don't give it away lightly. Let me know when you're ready for part 5, or if you'd like a call to action, title, description, and hashtags for this part. Part 5. You've read about purpose, discipline, growth, time, and inner strength. But here's the truth that ties it all together. You already have what it takes. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Everything great starts from within. Confidence. Courage. Clarity. It's not handed to you. It's grown from the inside out. You were born with potential. But potential means nothing without action. Every day you wait is a day you could have been building. Every excuse you make is one more brick in the wall between you and your dream. This is your reminder. Stop looking for a sign. You are the sign. The difference between winners and wishers is simple. Winners act. They act even when they're afraid. They act when it's inconvenient. They act before they feel ready. They trust the process. They trust the effort. They trust that showing up every day, even with doubts, builds results. Imagine who you could become if you stopped holding back. What if you gave 100%, not just on good days, but on all days? What if you decided that your dreams weren't optional? They were your mission. Think about that version of you. Strong. Focused. Determined. That person isn't a fantasy. That person is already inside you, waiting to be unleashed. But you have to choose. You have to stop waiting for everything to be perfect. You have to silence the inner critic that says you're not good enough. Because here's the truth, you don't have to be perfect to begin. You just have to begin to become great. Every expert was once a beginner. Every success story started with a decision. So today, you make yours. You decide that enough is enough. Enough wasting time. Enough playing small. Enough wishing and waiting. Now it's time to step into your power. Your goals are promises. Your discipline is your armor. Your time is your tool. Your growth is your journey. And your belief in yourself, that's the spark that lights the fire. This isn't just a motivational story. This is your new standard. This is the line in the sand. From this day forward, you live with purpose. You move with intention. You act with boldness. Because the future you want is not found in comfort. It's built in effort, shaped by habits, and driven by belief. So go. Go after it with everything you've got. Go like your life depends on it, because it does. You are powerful. You are capable. You are ready. Now act like it. Speech balloon. If this story moved you, inspired you, or gave you clarity, then do something powerful. Bell subscribe for more motivational stories that speak to your soul. Thumbs up like if you believe your time is now. Outbox Stray share this with someone who needs a push. Memo comment below, what will you take action on today? Your journey has just begun. Let's rise together. Rocket Part 5 has been added. Let me know when you're ready for Part 6, or if you'd like to review or revise any earlier part.